Hey, how's everybody doing? Uh, I don't know because I haven't gone outside today. Uh, I think it's, I think it's cold as shit outside, but it looks nice. The sun's out, looks really inviting. It's kind of like one of those movies where the person jumps into the water and then is swearing up a storm and how cold the water is after they jump into it. And oh, okay. Now the subject we're going to be talking about today. And, again, I'm just going to try and, get your feet wet. And then if it's something you're interested in, and by all means, like normal, don't necessarily trust what I'm telling you. Look into it yourself, find out what you can, then make up your mind. But the uh, the thing with the Pleiades is there is, and I'm going to do my best. There's something I'm going to keep to the end of this and to put everything in focus. But I did not, I don't remember seeing this one. Like, this would have been like right around the first year that I had given up and I had come home, to basically get sick and die after I got sick working at GM. Best I can tell, I was exposed to either poison or something else, for the fact that I kept bringing up quality issues and wanted something done about it. That's the best information I have. I reported what I knew to the FBI. Apparently, it wasn't enough to do anything, but I did the best I could. Sometimes bad people just get away with doing horrible shit. Uh, you know, uh, like case in point, you go back in history, and this was somebody that wasn't a nobody. It was somebody well respected, well liked. But the guy who played Superman in the old black and white serials on TV, he was murdered. They made a movie about called Hollywoodland. They never figured it out. And there was spotlight on that. People wanted to know. Sometimes bad people just get away with doing horrible shit. Uh, the But I don't remember seeing this. I really don't, and it could be that I saw it and I don't remember it. Could be I fell asleep in it. Same thing with there's a couple episodes around this too, but it was an old episode of Ancient Aliens from like 2020, and they're talking about the Pleiades, and it's a star cluster, and historically, going back in time, Native Americans, other cultures, these cultures talked about visitors from the Pleiades. They basically talk about it in their oral legends. They talk about it in their written text, and they also have it in their drawings. Like, and again, you'd have to, if you have access to watching it, it'd be from season 16 or 15, season 15. And you just go and watch it, and they will make the case for you. You can look into this a little bit, although this is why I tell you really need to get into these groups that are kind of looking into forbidden archaeology, because some of this you will not find in the history books, but they show you. It's kind of like that at the beginning of the Da Vinci Code, where he's showing you all these pictures and he's giving the class a lecture. And what they're doing is they show you some of these pictures, and they then show you how the artwork, the cave drawings, the artwork, the other stuff, that they are actually drawing the Pleiades system. It's what could be seen in the night sky, or what could be seen with a telescope. And if you get into the ancient aliens mythos, you will find that there have been many, many times where somebody basically talked about something that you couldn't know from whatever you could see with your naked eye. There's just no way you could see it without like modern day equipment, like today's modern day. There were, the best one was Betty and Barney Hill. Betty Hill drew a picture, and she said it was a star map that she had seen on the alien ship that had abducted her. And nobody, because there were people that wanted to believe. They didn't want to treat her like a nut job. They wanted to believe. They wanted to look into it. And what they found was that 5, 10, 15 years later, after they had better technology, they updated their star maps, and you now could see it match up with existing known astronomy. But at the time she was abducted, nobody on Earth knew that. At least not that we know of. They had not developed the technology to see that. It's kind of like when you find those rhesus maps or whatever. I know I'm at least in the ballpark of what the name should be. But they've got these like really old maps that were drawn in like either the 1500s or the 1300s, and they don't look like any other maps of that time period. They are drawn with more modern making map skills. Well, it shows an Antarctica without the ice cap. And again, there was no way that normal humans would have known what that was like unless they had some kind of extrasensory perception where they could, remote view what the island looked like without the ice cap. I gotta streamline this, but eventually when I get the proper iron farm working, this won't be as important. But that's the nuts and bolts of it. It's like this thing goes back tens of thousands, maybe even 100,000 years, where you've got these remnants of older cultures where they're like, well, yeah, we were visited from the Pleiades. And some of what I saw, and like I said, I do not remember this now. Maybe I saw it and it's in the back of my head, but I don't remember any of this. I don't remember the stuff about from then. I don't remember the stuff about the immortality machine or the one they did on the Skinwalker Ranch. I just don't remember it. But the stuff that was in this episode, it somewhat matches up with stuff I've seen from Gaia on YouTube, like stuff because I've never, even when I was healthy, not that I didn't want to, I just didn't want to spend the money on it because I had other stuff I was doing, but I've never subscribed to Gaia. And because it was either going to be Gaia or it was going to, at the time, it would have either been Gaia or it would have been Acorn TV, and I kind of wanted to watch, like, the British TV. And, let's get some of these out. But they, this is something that goes back and back and back. And some of what they were talking about on that episode, again, it matches up with what I've seen on Gaia, where they were talking about... now, here's the one thing I will say, and I think I talked a little bit about this either yesterday or today on the Diablo stream. Probably today on the Diablo stream I did. When it comes to Atlantis... When it comes to Atlantis, most of the pertinent information matches up. It just does. Wherewith, whenever they're talking about the stuff that they were talking about in the Pleiades, that's like all over the place. And it can't all be true. Either that or the stuff from the Pleiades is much like, the Star Trek Federation where they had multiple species all in that area, and that's possible. Or what's that one movie? It's based on a book, if I'm not mistaken, but the Valerian and the World of a Thousand Cities or something like that. Uh, but it's a little all over the place because I've seen a lot of stuff online, and I'm not sure any of it is as credible as like the History Channel, which I consider one of the top places to get information like this. The Science Channel, the Travel Channel, they're not bad. They're really not bad, but I wouldn't. They don't seem. They just don't seem to me like top shelf. And but they were talking, and they basically said the people from the Pleiades, if I'm not mistaken, their symbol is represented by, I believe, the Thunderbird, and this was at one point, and then something else. There was someone that they were at war with. It sort of came up, and again, these are. I don't know if any of this is true. This is the story they were telling, and I'm sharing it with you. But I don't really know on any of this, to be honest with you. And if I start coughing too much, I'll end the stream. Uh, but there was another race or another species or whatever you want to call it from the Orion Belt. And then one minute they were talking about that with no, so these are all coming from different sources would be my guess. And they were talking about them, and they were really just leaving it out there like they were human. And then there was another one that they were fighting with some kind of a reptilian species. I don't really know, but it was a little bit all over the place, even on the History Channel, where with most of the stories that I've ever heard on Atlantis, they were either non-specific or they were talking about Atlantis being created by uh, Poseidon, and there was a lot of that they came from Poseidon, so there's that, and they were humanish, that kind of thing. Where this one here, when they're talking about, because they basically said that these people from Pleiades or these aliens from Pleiades, that they existed around Australia, parts of Africa, and around India. So there's like a little triangle there. And this is like when you look at these triangles all over the world, Bermuda Triangle, Alaska Triangle, maybe they're remnants because I'm hearing now that there might be pyramids buried under Atlantis. And so it's possible that these are all remnants of they're all remnants of like an old civilization. And I don't know, but because again, they had a little triangle area from like Australia to Africa to northern India or to India, that area. And okay, we're out. Yeah, I got a little bit of work done on this yesterday. I got to work on this. But I'm making I'm making a road into it. Like some of this I think I'm just gonna cut down trees because if I'm talking to you, I'm not gonna be focused on this, and yeah, I think I'll do that. Rather do a good job than a shitty job. And so, anyways, took down a couple buildings for this. But anyways, hang on a sec. Oh my god. I fell back asleep after the first stream, and then the female cat did not come and bug me, and the male cat finally came and got me. Oh god, I want to say around 1 o'clock, and I was just sort of waking up. He didn't bug me too much until it got. Oh, I didn't finish this one. Okay, we can wait on that. I haven't gotten that figured out yet. Yeah, this was like the last thing I did. I started there, came out, and then this was one of the last things I did was taking out the building here and here. I never finished those, so we'll just go work on some trees. But you know, they talked about these things from the Pleiades, and they mentioned that they lived in there, and then they basically said that they're sometimes known as Lemuria or Mu. And the most I've heard about this, pretty much up until I watched this episode, everything I've heard about them was from people that are on Gaia that have, you know, that they've got either interviews with them that are up on YouTube, or it might even be the Gaia channel has put them up on YouTube, and I can watch them. And again, it's all over, because like one time they were talking about them and they sounded kind of human. Now this is off a guy. Another time they were talking about them and it sounded like they were humanoid, but they were not human. And they didn't have sex. They reproduced another way. And I really don't know, but I don't think they know either, at least not for sure. And again, it could be that, you know, these people from Pleiades, maybe even the people that were identified as Mu. I do not want to get blown up by a fucking creeper. Like, if I see anything weird, I'm going to go and try and sleep, or I will wait until the storm is over. Because this is really not that safe over here at all. And, the shitty thing about fish is I got a shitload of fish because I've been fishing trying to get spell books and or books, whatever you want to call them. And so I've got plenty of fish, but they don't fill you up. I think they updated. That was something they did to the game. But they were talking about them. And they were talking to them about being at war with somebody from Orion. Well, some of the stuff on Gaia, and again, this I wouldn't say is necessarily contradictory, but where they basically talked about them where they weren't human. Well, then in this stuff here, they sounded human, and it was the ones from Orion that were reptiles. And then the other thing is, like, when you look at the Da Vinci Code, what if the ones that are referred to as reptilians are basically where the people that won made their enemies look bad, kind of like what we're seeing some politicians do, where they're calling basically people that are trying to hold them to account for the laws they broke. Well, now they're being called vermin. They're basically making up stuff about them, and that's what I'm kind of wondering, is that what could be going on here, where maybe they were all human or humanish, and in the course of who wrote the history, whoever wrote the history, maybe maybe these were labels given to them. But then again, when you hear Linda Moulton Houghton talk about how there's, like, right now, three main alien species, again, I don't know if any of it's true, but she's at least worked on it a hell of a lot more than I have, and I don't think she's a moron. And I personally don't think she would lie. Maybe she got it wrong. Maybe people lied to her, and she's lying to us, and she just doesn't mean to. I don't know, but I do know she's spent a lot more time working on it than I have. And the she said there's like three alien races. There's reptilians. There's what they call the Nordics, and I've heard it said about them that if they dressed up in our clothes, like suits and stuff, you'd never know. Other than them being very attractive, you'd never know. And and then you basically talk about the and then there's the Greys, and there's some belief that they may be or like drones working for something else, or they could be like V'ger, where they're just an artificial intelligence. And she said they all three have different agendas. Like the reptilians and the humans, or the Nordics, sounds like they're at war. And again, now you put this stuff from the Pleiades, where they were at war with somebody from Orion. They're from the Pleiades. They were at war with somebody from the Orions. One of them is known, or at least thought to be, an alien, or reptiles. So basically, again, I don't know, but these stories are at least somewhat matching up. And with the aliens, these would be they look like the Roswell Greys, but they're aliens. They're not, they don't really know. They're trying to, not label anything. But the way she was explaining in that, these Greys, they seem to have their own agenda, and they have taken sides when it suits them. I'm gonna go, and I need to put a bed over on this side. Might put mine over there, the one I got, and then I'll just make another one whenever I finish mapping. But no, and but that part of it matches up again a little bit at least. And oh, give me a second. I I don't know what to fucking say about it, but when I gotta blow my nose, it would be nice if you could just blow it once, get all that shit out of you into the Kleenex, throw it out. But I blew my nose when I came in here before I started the stream, and I thought it was clear. Got it all done. And then I sat down, and now I have cleared my baffles, or whatever you want to call it, at least twice now. Just gurgled the shit up, spit it out. Now I gotta blow my nose again. And I'm like, what the fuck? Give me a second. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with my body, but and this is minor. This is just it's not like I'm deathly sick or anything like that from this, but I blow my nose, and it's draining down in my throat, and I blow my nose, nothing, not a fucking drop, but I can feel it in there. I can feel it when I'm breathing. Blow my nose, nothing comes out, and then when I'm gurgling or whatever you want to kind of pull it out to where I can spit out, I can feel it being pulled down to my throat. It's skipping my nose, and it's kind of like, what the fuck? But anyways, we're back to the stream, and but this is the shit going on. You got again, some of those stories are not conflicting, but when it comes to Lemire and Mu, one story that I got from Gaia, they were at war with Atlantis. Then another story, they were at war with somebody. They weren't really saying Atlantis. Then there was stuff where Atlantis and Mu had been friends for tens, if not hundreds of thousands of years, and it was the Anunnaki. And again, it could just be whoever won out. Maybe the Lemurians were bad. Maybe the Atlanteans were bad. Maybe none of them were bad, and it was just all misunderstood. But it could be that the whatever race ended up winning out or was the last to survive, maybe they wrote the history bad. I don't know. I don't know if any. I mean, it may be where we don't know anything, because again, this was something that when you watched that movie with Tom Hanks, and they were kind of talking about it. They showed you a pitchfork, and he want in art, and he wanted to know what it was, and that's Satan's pitchfork, and he's like, well, no, that's Poseidon's pitchfork. And that's what I'm getting at is, maybe, because when you talk to people, Jewish scholars, Jewish philosophers or religious people, they'll tell you that in the Jewish faith and the Muslim faith and the Christian faith are at best cult-like offshoots of the Jewish faith. And if the Jewish faith was up to no good, then it's ancient history. Maybe we don't know about it. But the Christian faith, whether it be, the assassination attempts on Queen Elizabeth, the Spanish Inquisition, the the child raping priests. The Catholic Church has been horrible, and the Muslim faith. A lot of your modern day terrorism is all due to the Muslim faith. There's a lot of it in that faith. I'm not saying the faith is bad, but like back in the day, there was a lot of terrorism from the Catholic faith, Christian faith. Well, there's a lot of it now from the Muslim faith. And you don't really see that much of it. Now, again, it may be old stuff we don't know about anymore, but what if a lot of what we know is, somebody, somewhere, somehow, sometime, some of these aliens, because the more I hear about it, it sounds like the Vatican knows a lot. There's a lot of stuff that they have, and they kind of made fun of this in one of the later movies in the Da Vinci Code series, where there was information, and the Vatican, like that one dipshit, they left it alone in an office. It was Vatican office, but they were being allowed to use it. But when they came back, whatever they had was gone. And they were basically in Vatican City. The Vatican police were the supreme authority there. And, and again, there's a little basis for this. Like the Pope we got now is a pretty good guy, but that hasn't always been the case. You had that one guy. Now, he I think, had a lot to do with covering up the child molesting ring that was going on by the priest. He's also been known by the nickname Notzinger, because this is a guy that was a Nazi in World War II, and he became the Pope. You take a look, a lot of the people in the Catholic faith, they're like fucking horrible people. And then, Bill Maher, he basically said that this Pope reminded him of the popes back in the 70s. Basically a good guy. So we don't know. I don't know. You don't know. I don't think anybody knows, but it sounds like, little rumors you hear, little stories you hear. It sounds like there might be a lot of ancient history, a lot of this stuff that people are looking for might be hidden by the Vatican. They might know a lot more than they're saying. And was that something the Catholic Church did, where they rewrote history to cover a lot of this stuff up? I don't know. I literally don't know. But that's that's about the best I think I'll be able to do for you. But again, there seems to be this race, and again, some of the stories are, none of this was on the History Channel. You may have to, you can probably do better if you actually subscribe. I can't. But there is a lot of, and like I said, some of it is interviews with the people that are on Gaia. They've done interviews and podcasts and stuff. But there is some of the Gaia programming, some of the Gaia shows that are on YouTube. As far as I know, they've been put up there by the actual Gaia channel. And you can go check those out. I don't know how much room I got. Hey, I got room. And if I'm not mistaken, the Betty and Barney Hill story, I might be wrong, but I think those aliens claim to be from the Pleiades, or she thought they were from the Pleiades system. And the other thing, I'll throw this out there, is when it comes to DNA, somebody came to the conclusion that DNA is expanding double the size every so often. It's like a set period of time, and our DNA doubles. And what they did was they figured out, and I'm kind of going general here because I don't remember the exact numbers. I'm doing the best I can. But they they figured out that with our DNA using that, now they could find out in 10 years, 1 year, 6 months, they could find out that that's all wrong. They absolutely could. But the best information they have right now is that our DNA is about 9 billion years old. The Earth isn't 9 billion years old. So the best evidence would be that the DNA came from another planet, would be how that sits out. And that is what it is. But that's the best evidence they have. Come on. There we go. And then what's going on now is, so again, circumstantially at least, the evidence is matching up that our ancestors did not originate here. Either we are made up of as a hybrid species or a genetically altered species that's older than this Earth. And then there's also stuff that points to the fact that we didn't originate on Earth, that we might have originated on Mars. Because when we get outside our planet's atmosphere, when we get outside Earth's gravity, according to NASA, they got this information came from NASA allegedly. They've done studies, and when these astronauts get outside the atmosphere, they revert to a Martian clock, like a day cycle. Like right now, our clock, most people have it. Some people are morning persons, people are evening persons, but like you seem to know, and you're on that 24-hour clock when you're on Earth. Well, they found with the scientists they launch into space, when they get outside the Earth's atmosphere and gravity, they reset to like a Martian day. And I don't know if it's longer or shorter, but that their body cycles function like that. And the other thing that and this is just observation, but when you look at when you look at our species, okay, when we're born, when we are absolutely born, it takes us like a year or more before we can walk. Up until then, we're pretty harmless. Other animals are like that too, although I don't think it takes them as long to get up and running. Most animals on Earth, they can almost walk the same day. Horses, giraffes, they don't have to sit there and tend their species for months and months and months or a year or more. They can usually get right up and start walking with mama day one. We take months, if not more, to walk. We got baby walkers and shit like that for the first couple of years usually. And there's some scientists that have pointed out that's an indication that we are probably used to a lower gravity, like on Mars. And the other thing, and cats and dogs are the same way. And we see them as pets. The old Egyptians had them as pets. Maybe an indication that they're not from here, too. And maybe. I don't know. What do we got here? Another thing is like our eyes, if we run around without sunglasses, it damages our eyes. Our eyes are obviously not used to this much sun, but if we're on, maybe if we were on a planet like Mars, because most of the creatures here do not have eye damage from looking around at the sun because they've adapted to it. And hang on a sec. And like this is the one that kind of freaked me out, and it's saving us fuel oil right now. But I turn the heat up during the day, but apparently, according to the stuff I've seen, at 67 degrees or lower, our body only makes good fat. This was nothing. Again, if they're lying to me, I'm lying to you. I'm just not doing it on purpose. But at 67 degrees, our bodies make only good fat. When the temperature is higher than that, we make bad fat. As you get older, you'll find out there's good fat and there's bad fat. But according to them, if it's cold enough, 67 degrees is the average temperature of Mars at the equator. It's another indication. I mean, these things are adding up. And again, I don't know. Maybe they're all bullshit. I just don't know. But you start to get enough circumstantial evidence, you start thinking, God, maybe there's something going on here. I really don't know. And it's interesting is all I'm saying. It's all I'm saying is that it's interesting. And then the thing I want to add at the end now, and this I kind of wanted to say, but I honestly think I got everything I kind of wanted to expose you to. Go ahead and look at it yourself. Make up your mind yourself. Don't trust me. Don't trust a lot of people on the internet. Just go make up your own mind. But the James Webb telescope that we got now, that can see further than we've ever seen before. And from what they're saying, they are detecting planets in the Pleiades section. And, again, you got all this stuff from past, distant past, in a long, long time ago, and fucking civilizations that are no longer on this fucking planet. They got that. Then Betty and Barney Hill, she basically said, she drew a map and like people were looking at it. Well, then after they developed a little more technology, boom, it's the Pleiades. It's the Pleiades section. They actually matched it up once we had a better understanding of what the stars looked like, where their positions were, started matching up, and James Webb Telescope. Now that we can see further, they're finding stuff there. That Oumuamua. I think I've talked about that. There was this meteorite, asteroid. The experts, and I'm not an expert. I'm not even fucking close. But the experts did not know how to classify it. This thing appeared to change direction, and they can't naturally explain why it did. It slowed down, it sped up. They can't explain why or how, not even why, but how it did it naturally. So the speculate that's done that before, where like a golem blinks into existence. I wonder if some of the Minecraft things are looking around going, man, we're living in a simulation. There's humans that have done that where they feel like they're living in a simulation. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I'm not even gonna call that a glitch. And but no, the Samoa, it was something, and apparently they found out because they've looked back at data. There's been many of them. This was the first one that was noticed. It was, and maybe the governments know it, and this is one of those things that one of those little dirty secrets they didn't want us to know about. There was an amateur astronomer that recognized it, alerted it, and the Harvard Astronomy Department. Again, yeah, a bunch of fucking wingnuts, a bunch of uneducated people pissing on themselves. No, this is one of the premier colleges in the world. It's well respected. And what they came to the conclusion was that, this did not appear to be natural. There's so much about it that did not appear, and I don't ask me to spell it, but it's called Oumuamua, like messenger from the heavens, from a distant, it's that's the name. The name means something about a messenger from a distance, and this thing came in. It appeared to be a probe, kind of like Stargate. They would send those melts through, or with Atlantis, they would send those little video balls through, and it appeared to be a probe, maybe. Definitely something that was not natural. Then, well, what is it? It didn't attack us. Uh, well, they didn't know that much about it. Well, and this to me is another little ominous thing, and they brought this up in that thing on the History Channel. Somebody started backtracking its path here. And the best evidence, again, maybe they're wrong, but the best evidence this guy could come, and if he's lying to me, then I'm lying to you. I don't know. If he's lying to History Channel and they're lying to me, well, I'm not doing it to you on purpose, but this is the information I have. And they tracked that thing back. Apparently, it came from the Pleiades area. The James Webb is seeing planets there, like a fair amount of them. It was in the hundreds. It was like 5, 6, 700 planets. And, with that many planets, there's a good chance there's at least a couple that might be inhabitable. I mean, they might not be inhabited, but there'd probably be at least a couple that would be somewhere near that Goldilocks zone. And clearly the government seems to know something. What it is, I don't know. But the government appears to know something. So we're gonna come up to, and this is gonna wrap it up. But if you're still with me, I got 2 call to actions for everybody that sees this. And feel free not to do them. I don't consider these are not deal breakers for me. They're not the end of the world type things. But write your congressman, write anybody you vote for, and let them know we need to legalize assisted suicide. People like me that are sick and don't seem to be getting better, we deserve a better option rather than homelessness or having to steal for food. And I mean, we really do. I'm not there yet, so please, act on this and, give us some better options. And like my mom died in hospice, and again, nobody should be forced to do this, but we live in a society where people are forced to die. We have school shootings because we can't tell some people with really small penises that they can't, have every gun they want. We live in a society where hospitals and insurance companies can go to court. When the family has not given up, the family does not want to give up. We can basically pull the plug and let people die for a hospital or an insurance company's bottom line. We should be able to do this for people that are sick or people that are dying. And if they want it, they should be able to do it. I'm sorry. It's that's the world we live in, and I honestly see this as a more achievable goal than trying to get disability fixed. I really do. I absolutely find this a more achievable goal because the fact is, uh, Democrats can't do anything with what they have in office with Republicans, and then even if they do, look what we got. Where the other side, they're just going to constantly fuck around until the government almost shuts down. Nothing can be done by the Democrats, and the Republicans don't give a shit. They literally, and that's just our country. Other countries are kind of, they got rich people in other countries, but I just don't see us fixing disability. In fact, I think it's going to get worse. I look at what my brother, and again, regardless of how he got here, this is where my brother is now. He's on disability. Now, I would probably get more money than him because I've had better paying jobs over the years, but it's still not going to be enough to live on. But I look at him. This is a guy that can basically, make choices. And if all you're going to do is pay these people enough so that they can barely eat and sleep, and he's of the point, and I've watched it. And I don't think this is him lying. Like, okay, he pisses away a lot of money he doesn't need to spend. He just does. But he really, if he was on his own, and I'm like right now that he's pissed away all his inheritance, I'm basically buying most of the meat, and then what he's doing is he's buying like sandwich meat and fucking spam and mac and cheese, and we really only eat one meal together, and he's struggling to get enough to eat. He really is, and his wife. Then this is his fault. I'm gonna put this completely on him. He should have gotten a divorce from her, and I don't know if he's fucked up on his end or if she's fucked up on her end. But his wife constantly goes and steals his food stamps, and she hasn't done it in a while. But every now and then, he'll find out that he's not getting food stamps, and it always takes him a couple months to fix it. Now again, whether that's his fuck up or the system, I don't know. I don't care. But at a certain point, there should be some punishment. They should either basically give him backup food stamps and just call it a done deal, or they should take her food stamps and give them to him. Because again, it's like the terrorists, it's like the criminals in the GOP. Until these people have to pay for their fuck ups, they're not gonna quit. They're not gonna learn from it. They just don't. And she's constantly doing this. She's done it at least 3, 4, 5 times just since I've been home. Couple years now, but it's at least once or twice a year. It seems like she does it. She does it, and again, there should be some punishment. They should figure out, and they should tell her, okay, well, you're going to lose your food stamps, or you're going to lose half of your food stamps until this is made up. Well, what am I going to do? Well, you're going to fucking starve just like he had to. You're going to have to pinch your coupons. You're going to have to fucking expect other people to pay for you. And and like, again, I don't want to get into a whole thing on that, but it's like it's fucked up. It ain't working. And the fact is, if they paid everybody enough to live on, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. She still might be a sleazy shit, but if you gave her enough to live on, and to be honest with you, she had like brain surgery. She had like a tumor in her brain. I'm not gonna give her shit at all. I'm really not. But the fact is, neither one of them are getting paid enough to live on. You can either eat, you got food, medicine, rent, or a place to live. Those are the 3 essential things. Well, most of the people that are out there on disability, most of those people that are out there on welfare, this kind of thing, they can get one of the 3. And then the other 2 are a crapshoot. And I'm sorry, but when we are letting like Walmart and others make billions and billions and billions on the backs of other people, that's just wrong. It's just wrong. And but I just don't see disability getting fixed. I don't see welfare getting fixed. I don't see minimum wage getting fixed. I don't see unemployment getting fixed. So please try and get assisted suicide legalized. Now on this, the second one that I'm asking you for, Get a hold of your elected officials in Washington and let them know that the amendments by Kristen Gillibrand and Marco Rubio for the Intelligence Committee, that needs to be passed. They got to strip out any of the shit that's in there that's going to help out corporations and rich people. If people got to go to jail, they got to go to jail. That's just the bottom line. Can't give any amnesty. Can't give any immunity. Same way with these the companies that are in the military-industrial complex. If they broke the law or if they were involved in illegal trade actions because they were getting special contracts and they were getting special treatment by the military or the government, if their companies have to be broke up, if their profits have to be broke up, if they have to go to those CEOs and take money out of their fucking bank account, do it. That's the way it needs to be. Because if you don't, it's going to happen again. Maybe not on this, but on something else. But they have to show these rich people. Because this is what happened with Enron. Well, when Enron happened, if you or I had fucked up, if you or I had stolen money like Enron, they would have came and taken our house. But some of these states, they got rules where rich people, when they break the law, oh, you can't take their house. You or I'd lose our house. You know, that was in that Batman Dark Knight Rises or whatever, where, you know, that girl, when they, and she basically helped facilitate it. She helped steal from Bruce Wayne. She goes, I'm sorry you lost your house. And he goes, oh, they're actually letting me keep the house. And she goes, you don't even go broke like the rest of us. Well, we live in that world. We absolutely live in that world. And then the other one, we need the amendment written by Majority Leader Chuck Schumer in the Senate. And that one's for the Defense Authorization Act. We need those passed. We need the president to sign them. And they got to strip out any of that bullshit that's going to help out the military-industrial complex. If people got to go to jail, then they got to go to jail. They can work out whatever they need to work out like they would normally do, like with the Trump people and with Menendez. If somebody gives up enough evidence to put someone else in jail, if they assist in the prosecution, then they get immunity. Then they get a deal. But if you've got big defense contractors that basically need to go under, you know, hey, steal their military stuff. Take it. Fucking sell it on the open market to other defense contractors that we can trust. But, because this was Lou Elizondo, he basically said that there's a lot of these people in that industry. Their companies may be facing criminal and civil lawsuits for what they did. And we've seen it with Fox. You've got people that bought Fox stock. I keep getting these fucking hiccups when I'm doing streams. They've got investors. A lot of them were people that invested a mass amounts of money on Fox News for retirement funds and stuff. And when Fox News had to pay almost $1 billion for a defamation lawsuit because they knew that their people were lying about the Republican Party, they were lying about the election, they were lying about COVID, and right now they're only getting hit for the election stuff. Stuff on the election machine companies like I can't remember the name, but there's two election machine or voting machine makers. One of them got almost $1 billion. The other one might actually get more, and that one is still going. Systematic, I think, is one of them, and I can't remember the name of the other. Well, they're basically suing for Fox News. They're like, hey, look, you knew about this. You let it happen. You let it happen. Pay us. We invested in you and your board of directors, your people in charge, the people that should have stopped this. They should have directed people to stop it, and if need be, they should have fired people when they didn't stop it. So they're getting sued. Well, this is what's going to happen more than likely, unless these fucking back-scratching, ball-washing fucking people in Washington don't stand up for it. They're basically going to have these lawsuits where, hey, I sold the stock and I didn't know you had fucking ET's mothership in a hangar. I bought your stock and didn't know that you had done all this illegal business dealings with the federal government. You're going to have people that are going to sue because their grandfather or their father or their great grandfather lost his job and his pension, and it affected their bottom line. You're going to have companies or people that are going to come out, hey, I was invested in this other company, and because of this illegal activity, I lost my investment. And you're going to, and that should be something that has to happen. And you're going to have these people. They lied. They took money they weren't supposed to. That's already been accused in open hearings in Congress that money's been misappropriated. Well, you're going to have some of these companies. They got money they weren't supposed to get, and that there's going to be a problem there. And the part I liked is the one, and I don't really think the reporter is a bad guy, but that one reporter said that, oh well, these companies are saying they used their own money to, well, yeah, but how much of that was ill-gotten gain? I bet you they didn't start that way. I bet you they were like Bigelow. They were given like a million, if not billion-dollar contract with the government, and they made a shitload of money. Because that's another thing when you look at Bigelow. This is a guy that when he bought Skinwalker, and I'm really not trying to badmouth Bigelow. I don't. If it comes out that he did something sleazy, fair enough, but I don't know that he does. He seems like a pretty decent guy. But he bought that Skinwalker Ranch, and he was given like a $22 million contract to investigate the freaky shit that was going on there, right? Well, then what happened was, somewhere around that time, he created Bigelow Aerospace, and he got a lot of contracts. Well, then as soon as he started coming out about UFOs, those contracts dried up, and Bigelow Aerospace went into bankruptcy or basically really reduced their operations. It is clear to me, I think any rational person will see that it's really, really likely that he was basically made to investigate or do this stuff. And then when he came out about UFOs, when he started coming out about what he had access to, boom, he was cut off. So this is a guy who didn't get this through, or they wouldn't have been able to stop him. If this was a guy who got where he was because of what he was doing and what he knew, they wouldn't have been able to stop him. And then you look at someone like Elon Musk, who is like fucking up left and right, and he doesn't seem to be impacted. He could basically harm Ukraine's attack to defend itself on Russia, and he's still getting contracts. I don't understand that. None of this makes sense, and they really need to get to the bottom of all of this. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. I hope everybody has a great day. Like I said, it looks nice out. I think it's cold as shit, but it really looks nice out. Sun's out. Beautiful day. Hope it continues. Peace out, and I will talk to you as soon as I can. Peace out.